All right, everybody, welcome back to the Golf Podcast. And this is actually episode 217. Sorry, last week, I know I said it like 3 or 4 times that it was episode number 217. For that, we're just going to go ahead and blame Mike.
Yeah, blame the show producer here. Sorry, after 217 episodes and 4.5 years of doing this, I think this is the first time I've made this mistake. Yes. So hopefully I get a pass in our Golf Podcast community. I'm sure I will.
Yeah, so Mike is he's in charge of throwing together some notes for when we do our podcast, and one of it is the header is to put the episode number.
Yes,
and
yes. Frank, he takes care of the technical stuff, putting the show together when it's done, and I have the easier part to do, which is make sure I get the damn number of the episode right.
Yeah, so in this case, it was blaring there at the top. So 216 kind of becomes the lost episode, I guess. But last week was a great episode. If you didn't get a chance to listen to it, that one, it's actually 216. But go back, listen to that episode. We had Travis Fulton on the show, and Travis had a great thing that he's doing for all of our listeners. He gave out his email where you can email him your swing, and he's going to be doing swing analysis and giving some swing tips on his show, The Stripe Show. And he's doing those, as a favor to us for a bunch of the listeners. So definitely take advantage of that. All the details are in last week's episode. So go back and listen to episode 216 and check that out. Tonight, we're going to dissect our par 3 challenge. There's going to be a whole video on this as well on our YouTube channel. Not sure yet, that probably will drop about the same time as this video. So make sure you can check it out. But we want to talk about our experience, what we learned. We're going to dive deep into that. But first, I want to talk quickly about all the great content that we've had on Golficity. Make sure you download the free Golficity app. It's free for Android and iOS. I still say it's the best way to get that. And I know, Mike, even you tell me you see most of the articles in the app now, right?
That's only place I go. I mean, I love firing that thing up and seeing all of this new content coming in from all of these guys. It's all great.
It is great stuff. So many great new voices coming to Golficity in 2018. We've got some great instruction, all the podcasts, our podcast, Karin Hart's podcast, which if you haven't had a chance to check out, she's had some really excellent guests on the show. And she's got a couple funny ones coming up really soon. So check that out. Some of our writers, McEwen, D'Souza, Benzenberg, Justin, so many out there just putting out some really great stuff, really detailed reviews, some first looks, some firsthand experience stuff. So we appreciate every bit of that. And I've been enjoying reading all of that. And as we go, as well as our new, Fitness Friday segment with Kirk Adams who's the director of golf fitness at Golf and Body, New York City. And what he's been doing has just been excellent, taking everybody from the podcast group's questions as it pertains to exercise and fitness and answering them with these short 2 to 3 minute, highly actionable videos where he shows you, a couple different exercises you can do to improve different things like upper and lower body separation, rotation, so much great stuff. And he really breaks it down. And the best part about it, it's direct answers to questions. So if you have a question that you want answered from a fitness standpoint, post that in the Facebook group, tag Kirk Adams, and he will, he's really been great about answering those and putting those together. So I look forward to that every Friday. And then we repost those videos in the Golficity app as well as on the YouTube channel. So make sure you guys don't miss them. So really great stuff. But I think go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say, I never have to Google anything golf related if I'm curious or I want a little more information or anything. I just go in the Facebook group and just throw it out there, and I'll get about 15 comments in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If I'm saying, hey, I'm curious about the Rogue versus the Titleist D, 917, I'll just put, Eric or someone, they're just going to fire it off and you're going to just get all the information. Boom, 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 boom. That's why I love that group.
Yeah.
And then of course we share our celebrations. We share our hole-in-ones. We share our eagles. We share, the awesome courses. I can't get enough of that group. I'm probably on that more than the app, honestly.
I'll tell you what, one thing that I've really enjoyed was just the last couple of weeks, everybody has been kind of rejoicing and being back out there playing again, because there's a lot of people who listen to the show who are like us. They're in areas where it's just starting to warm up. Heck, I mean, even if you live down south, it's been cold across the country for the most part for the last, couple weeks at least. So, it was really cool. I don't know who started it, but somebody just started this trend in the group of posting your first round back and pictures and stuff like that. So I've been really enjoying that. That's been great to see everybody just getting back out there and just kind of celebrating it. Been a really cool thing. I'm just kind of pulling up the group as I go, just to kind of possibly highlight some of the stuff that we've got going on.
I made a joke to someone. I was walking to my car today after leaving the office, and it was like 87 degrees out. It was so hot, right? And I was walking with them, and I'm like, this weather's got to stop. Like, I need it to be cold again. I can't handle this. And the guy just looked at me. He's like, dude, are you serious right now? Yep. I'm like, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. It's awesome. And I'm playing golf tomorrow. I'm going out playing Patriot Hills.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
nice.
I'm playing Patriot Hills tomorrow. It's supposed to be the same exact weather as it was today, Frank.
And today was absolutely gorgeous. It finally feels like it just like some switch went off and it just became like actual spring. Because it was kind of funny. We shot this video just the other day, right? It was a Tuesday morning, and I posted something on Instagram because I'm like, here we go again. I wake up that morning, I'm putting like the Golficity knit hat on because it's 39 degrees outside. 39 degrees. And I'm like, it's May 1st, 39 degrees. When will this break? And then about halfway through our round out there, it just started to warm up. And then
then summer came, I think.
And then the moment I took off that like outer jacket and just had my like regular golf shirt on, I was just like, it's here. And since then it's been nice and warm. So I've been loving every minute of it. And like I said, I know a lot of you guys out there have too, because you've been sharing all the pictures in the group.
Yeah. So I'll probably be taking over some of the socials tomorrow. I mean, this episode is going to drop after that happens, but I'm looking forward to getting out there. Listen, we've got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about this par 3 challenge.
Yep.
I want to talk about the state of our games. I wanted that to be like a segment here on the show. I think that would be kind of cool. The state of our games, talking about what's working, what's not working. But before we do that, of course, we need to thank our show sponsors for this episode. Titleist, the #1 ball in golf. Frank, we're 2 weeks away from the Titleist fitting. And guess what? I cannot wait to get my hands on.
Dude, if I know you, it's going to be the Titleist H1 and H2 hybrids.
Well, dude, you're right about that. Yes, I can't wait to get my hands on those. But I can't wait to run through the iron fitting and smash those 718 AP1s, 2s, and 3s. I can't wait to see the differences, compare them against each other. And, of course, you get to walk out of there with our own very set. So let me break it down for you guys. If you're in the market for new clubs and you're thinking about the Titleist clubs, some of us might even be getting some tax refunds at this time of the year or whatever.
There you go. Yep.
That's a great time to retool the bag for the new season. So if you're looking for the ultimate game improvement iron, then look no further than the AP1s. These are crafted with a very thin, fast face, and they even contain this precisely placed tungsten, high-density tungsten, to generate greater ball speed and higher launch. I knew nothing about that before I read this, and I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, and no doubt, those are going to be a great place to start. But honestly, I'm a bit curious about the 718 AP2 irons. They're the gold standard for modern tour irons. I think they're about the prettiest clubs out there. But we're talking forged steel, just like the AP1s, and they contain that high density tungsten you were mentioning for more speed and stability. And they've got that tour validated feel and distance and control. And then with the 718 AP3 irons, forget it. It's like the genius of Titleist. They brought together all the best of both worlds. They merged everything that they learned from creating and advancing that AP1 for the game improvement, and then that AP2 for like that real tour level thing. And what they ended up with is their longest, fastest player's iron ever. So it's your year to improve. Find a fitting location near you, give them a chance, and be sure to check out the Titleist AP iron lineup today at Titleist.com or in any golf shop near you. And speaking of which, Mike, I was just we were talking about the Facebook group before. I just saw and I love when everybody posts their equipment, because now's the time of year everybody's kind of buying new. I just saw a post here by John Hill. He said, I did it. He went and hit a couple different clubs, and then he ended up getting, he hit the Titleist AP 1, 2, and 3. He ended up trading in his Cobra F8. And I think they were all the one lengths. I think I've talked to him about that before. And he ended up with the AP1 irons. And he said that, he went straight to the range. He bought them. He showed actually a picture of the Titleist box in his back seat, and he went straight to the range with them. So really cool. Enjoy those, John. And I can't wait for you and I to get our hands on ours.
Yes,
that's for sure.
I know. I cannot wait.
Certainly gave me a little bit, I felt a little jealous at that moment. Like, I want those in my trunk now too.
So, hopefully pretty soon.
All right, so let's talk about the par 3 challenge. So,
Yes.
and again, you guys, by the time this episode drops, you may have seen the video. It may have hit or may not. Right as of right now, it's still in editing, and we just wrapped up filming. But we've been talking constantly on the podcast about the importance of the short game, importance of learning to score from 100 yards in. And right now, as you guys know, it's very early in the season for us. Mike, you probably have 3-4 rounds under your belt so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, I've played 2 rounds so far, if you count the 1 round down in Florida, which is tough. It's no doubt about it. It's tough. It's been a really rough year in that regard because we've had one of the longest winters ever. And to play only 2 rounds in 6 months, it takes a lot of shaking off the rust. And I'll talk about my 18-hole round that I played last weekend, which was just abysmal in a second. But what we said was let's get out there. Let's have a little fun with it. We're going to play a little match play, and we're going to play this par 3 course. And as part of that, we're going to use it as kind of a baseline. Let's use it to identify some areas where we want to improve, and then move on from there. And I always say this. I always encourage people, change it up a little bit from your usual, Saturday morning round. If you're playing the same place over and over, whatever it may be, challenge yourself to something different, something new. If you do have a par 3 course near you, I like it. I think I like it as a change of perspective. It almost makes you don't take out the driver. You just go out there and you just really work on that short game. So there was a lot that we learned from it. We had a lot of fun with it. We'll talk about that. But before we do, let's do a little fun little thing, as you mentioned, Mike, to talk about the state of your game.
Yes.
So you first, jump in, tell us the state of your game.
Yep.
2018, as we said, you're about 3-4 rounds in. Where are you at right now?
Sure. So tomorrow is in fact round 5 of the calendar year, including the 2 rounds down in Florida. I am currently at a place. So let's break it down in 3 parts: getting off the tee, the mid game, and then around and on the green. So getting off the tee for me, Frank, no problem at all. The driver's working. My tempo is slowed down. I'm very consistent with the 250, 260 right down the middle. Nice little cut. I set myself up for the approach shot almost every time. I'm very spoiled in that regard. That game is very strong. Mm-hmm. Then I get up to that second shot, and I'm 120, 130, or 90, or 100, or right in that area where it's anywhere from a 56 degree to a 9 iron, or whatever the case may be, and I just mess it up completely. I'm either topping it, sculling it, not taking a proper divot, or if I do get under it, I'm taking too much and I'm coming up short. It's a tight fairway lie, and I feel like I almost would rather be in the first cut of the rough. That's the position that I'm in, and that's probably not the way to play this game. You don't want to hope that you're in the rough, but you could see where my confidence is in hitting off of something that's not a mat.
Yes.
Something that resembles it, but it doesn't have the same bounce. So we'll come back to that in a sec, but take it up to the greens. Around the greens, I feel very good. I do mess up.
Putting well.
Still putting well. The greens on the par 3 course were really slow. It took me a while to adjust there, but other than that, when I'm on a course that has really nice rolling greens, the putting is usually there. So I guess in a nutshell, it's that mid game. If I could stick more greens, then a lot of awesome things can happen. And right now, I'm not hitting pretty much any greens.
And so the mid game, you're saying pretty much low irons down to wedges. You're not hitting long irons or hybrids into these because you're getting so well off the tee, correct?
Yeah, most likely the 8 iron, and it's usually 9 and lower is what I'm taking out of the bag on the next shot.
Got it.
Unless it's a par 5, of course, but then I'm probably hitting a hybrid, which I have no problem with. I advanced that pretty well. So I'm not worried about that shot. In fact, I have been topping a lot of hybrids a little bit lately off the fairway. I've been really messing that up on par 5s where I get out really nicely and I got maybe 220 to the hole, a reachable par 5, and I get maybe so amped up. That could be a mental thing, maybe an adrenaline thing or something like that. So that might just, for me, be a strategy change. You know what? For me, I think like you just said, you nailed it. You said switch things up, which means whatever it could be. Play the par 3 course one day, but switch things up when you're out on the course. Change your strategy. I'm actually working on an article for Golficity right now talking about breaking out of the early funk, when you get off to a bad start. And, the normal Mike, when he's staring 220 down on a second shot on a par 5, I'm going to go for it.
Right.
But maybe I should try to come at it with a 9 iron and leave myself a little short pitch. Different things I want to try.
Oh, and so many things. It's just ringing bells right now that we have on our lineup of things to talk about this year. We're going to talk about that half wedge shot and talk about strategy there, and to leaving yourself less of those. There's so much there, but I like something like a physical change, like playing a par 3 course where it physically makes you change your game up, or a similar type of situation when we did the 3 club challenge, something that forces you to change the way you're attacking the course, because it's such a good point. So often we get into this rhythm where we just go out there and we get the same result because we approach it the same exact way. No matter if things are working in our game or they're not working, we just kind of like just lock into doing the same thing over and over and over again. And one thing I'll just kind of tease in talking about that with where we're going to talk about hitting those half wedge, less than full wedge shots. So often we get locked into this mental thing where we just, at all times, our number one priority is advancing the ball as far as we can, right? As close as we can to the hole, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so for instance, let's say it's a par 5, or a short par 4 or something like that. And the second shot, we'll just stretch it out. We'll take, like, let's say I'll try to give an example. Let's say I'm like 270 out, right? 270 out. I can't reach that. But what I'm thinking is, okay, 270 out. What can I use to advance this as far as I can to get as close to the green? Well, rather than hitting a driver off the deck, which would just kind of be crazy, I'm going to hit, what's my next club? My 3-wood. So my 3-wood will go 240, 250, maybe if I hit it really well. So I'm like, okay, I'll pull that out. But my margin of error with the 3-wood, I don't hit it incredibly well, is a little bit higher. I'm trying to reverse that thinking and think differently, because now, let's say I do that. Let's say I hit it perfect and I execute it perfect. That leaves me this like awkward 40-yard half wedge shot in, right?
Yeah.
Which is a challenging shot to make. Now, if I rethink it, think backwards from the hole, and I think, well, 125 is like a dialed in, I could do it in my sleep pitching wedge for me. 125 that's my number, right? Now I think, rather than always trying to advance as far as I can, take this discipline and instead say, all right, to leave myself 125, all I need to hit it is what, 170? So now it's a different play. Instead of trying to swing, and I know I'm never going to reach the green. Instead of just trying to move it as far as I can, just kind of mindlessly with the 3-wood, I'm saying I'm pulling out a 6-iron here because I know if I hit a nice 170 6-iron shot, that leaves me the whatever it is, 125 or a full wedge in. So it's always about like this idea of just like rethinking it. And I think when you start to get in that mode of thinking more strategy, you'd be surprised what it can do for your game.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And so it's just kind of like using that to kind of segue into talking about the state of my game. A week ago, it was about as bad as it can get. I played my first round back here in New York. It was my first round in 2018, excluding that one round we played in Florida. So the game is about as rusty as it can be. Now, you and I, we talked about this before. We try to stay loose, playing in simulators throughout the winter, wherever we can do that. We talk about that here on the show, but it really, there's still like that relearning period when you get back out there. And one thing that I've always struggled with is what I call this like hibernation golf. It is always going to be a challenge to like kind of put the game away for a couple months and then try to pick it back up. And you try to like build on what you had from last year. It's just a frustration that a lot of golfers share who are in areas where we don't get to play year round. Now, in previous years, we just didn't have winters as long as this one. I remember, maybe 4 months, or I remember like a nice warm streak hitting and we'd get out there and shake off the rust a little bit. But this year it was tough. So I get out there and I always try to approach things with one goal in mind. So I played last weekend and I played in the weekend. It was very cold. It was very wet, 44 degrees, and it had poured overnight. Everything is soaked. So already I got some conditions to go against me. But I said, we talked about this, maybe it was an episode or two ago, where we said, if you want to score better, just eliminate instead of trying to make the perfect shots, just try working on eliminating the bad shots. And I was trying to do that. And I realized that so much of my trouble right now is getting off the tee. I was struggling so much again with driver that I end up in these situations where I'm trying to recover. And it's wasting so many shots. So it was a really tough round, but I'm like, all right, you treat things for what they're worth. They're practice round, just getting out there. Fast forward, we play in the par 3 challenge, and I was like riding high, feeling lights out. And a large part of it was because I was not having to hit driver or woods or anything like that off the tee. I think the biggest club I hit that day was a 4-iron for one of those really long par 3s. Par 3 holes. So, and then that was so enlightening to me because I'm like, all right, so this gives me put like some wind back in my sails. All the wind that was taken out, thinking like, here we go again, a terrible round to start the year. Now I'm like, whoa, there's some stuff here I can build off of. Now, if I can just eliminate that mistake we talked about, like off the tee, if I can get down to the range and do some driver work and some work with my 3-wood, 5-wood, some things like that. And that's why I'm excited about the fitting that we have coming up. Just get out there and get that improved and knock that out. I have something that I can really build on. So that, to me, is where I'm at right now. I think that's going to be the consistent thing that I'm going to be working through. But I really have to work on getting off the tee. And that's what's so funny about you and I. We always talk about our games are opposites of each other. Yeah. We're literally talking opposites here. You're saying how well and how much confidence you have and how much you can rely on getting off the tee and then struggling on that second shot. And here I'm saying I'm using those second shots to recover because I can't get off the tee. So yes, it's a wild thing.
I love your vlog idea about playing the 2-man scramble best ball to see how low we can go. Because
how low can Frank and Mike go? Yeah.
I think we could go low with our games. I think we're both pretty good around and on the greens. And, if we kind of flip-flop those other two off the tee in the middle of the fairway, I think we got a pretty good team right there.
Yeah, well, the truth is you put us two together and there's actually a good golfer in there somewhere.
Somewhere.
So let's talk about the challenge. So what we did was we went out there, the par 3 track. This happens to be at my home course. I've been playing here for years and years and years. And what happened was about 5 years ago, they renovated the whole track and they expanded it dramatically. And as part of that, they added a bunch of new holes and they had some greens that had been there for decades. And they're really great greens. And like, well, we don't want to just lose these and trash them. There's no reason to do that. So it was actually a smart thing they did. They salvaged a couple of the greens that there was no longer in use and they built a par 3 track in the middle of all these other ones. And it is no walk in the park. I've told Mike this, like get yourself ready because I played it once before and I'm like, it is challenging. Long. I think the longest, hole was played 220. There was at least 3 other holes over 180. And all of them to these kind of like tier, multiple tier, raised greens, very challenging, and small greens, right? So like, let's have a little fun with it. Let's do match play. We always play stroke play. Let's do something match play because it also will translate well for the video that we did. And I can't wait to see that final cut come out.
Yeah, I know.
So that was a lot of fun, but like, let's get out there, let's do this and let's just kind of see where our game is. And it was a ton of fun. I had a lot of fun out there. We were certainly challenged. Like I said, some very small greens. They were slow because they had been aerated about a week or two ago. So they're still kind of like regrowing them in from that, but I enjoyed it. How about you?
Yeah. First of all, I want to get another crack at it. Love the concept. I want to incorporate it into my routine because, well, first you spoiled not my par 3 course. I can't play there now because it's off mats. I mean, you have the authentic tee boxes hitting off grass, country club feel. So, I want to try it again over there because you're right. I mean, those small greens, I learned so much. I was talking to my buddies about it. I was like, you should go out and play a par 3 challenge or just play a par 3 course and just play like 3 or 4 balls and go out there and just work on stuff. I just talked about struggling from my mid game, Yeah. Think about it. All those tee shots are essentially that. Granted they're teed up, but
right.
But still then I work on
that mid range. That is exactly.
It's the mid range. It's exactly. That's why I liked it. I kept driver in the bag. Didn't matter because I'm very confident in the driver. So it was that true mid-range practice round. And, we were filming a lot, but I think I would love to go out there and just give it a crack with a couple of balls, drop them, and I would just work on that all day.
Well, we can definitely get out there and play that again. I'm sure we're going to have a rematch at some point. But it was just having even those smaller targets, forcing yourself to think. I think those are all things that anybody can benefit from, just going out there and trying to do that. But it really played in well. And no matter what, there's still some areas of improvement. One thing that I'm really kind of happy with, it was that new putter. That was
that felt nice.
Yeah. My second time out with it, the Bettinardi, which was part of that putter fitting that we did last, what was it? How long ago was it? Maybe 4 or 5 months ago? Not even. Maybe. But that it just, it feels good too when you make an investment in a club and it's working for you. So I find that I've got a lot more confidence on the greens with it, knowing that I've got a putter that's fit to me, which is why, again, I always recommend going through those fittings if you have the ability to do so, because if nothing else, the confidence going to give you just knowing you've got the right club in your hands and you can just go from there and execute is always going to be great. But it felt good. It felt good to be able to score a little bit around the greens and being able to rely on that. So, should we tell them the verdict, or we should?
Yeah, the video will be out. So just tell them, just rip the Band-Aid off.
So what was the final score? I think I won 4 up with 3 to play.
Yeah.
4 up with 3 to play. So we actually, we pushed through the first, 2 holes, right?
I believe
two or 3 holes. And there it was like, I was right out the gate. I felt good. I felt like I was playing well, and you just didn't quite feel like you had your game that day, but you were really recovering well.
Yep.
There was a couple ones where you were just like, you were missing the greens, but you had some sand shots and some putts and some things like that where you were really recovering well. So you could tell you're still riding high on that. Your putting is still working well, but I don't think it was so much a function of how you were playing as just like, I was just having a day. I was having a really good day. I mean,
you were playing nice. One particular hole, I don't know how this is going to come up on the vlog, but I hit, I think it was a 168-yard shot. I hit it right to the back of the green. There was all trouble, water left, very dangerous.
Hard sloping off on the right.
Hard sloping. And I stuck that green. I think I had a 15-footer. And then, of course, you get up and put it to like 6 feet. And I 3-putt and you par. And like that just made the match dormy there. And I think I lost it on the next hole.
Yeah, that was if nothing else, that was a momentum killer if you were going to have one, because it was like you were, I know you were like annoyed because some of the shots you weren't hitting them well. And then you finally get up there, you hit like a shot you really liked. And then like I put it inside you.
It's ridiculous. I left the downhill putt like 5 feet short. That's how slow those greens were.
Those greens were slow. They were slow. But yeah, so that's it. And like, that's this game, man. It ebbs and flows. Any given day that could all change, and then you could beat me up and down the next time we're out there. So we'll do another challenge like that. But it was, it felt good. And I think it was just one of those things. It was like kind of redemption for me, because I can't even tell you how bad I played over the weekend. It was like embarrassingly bad. So to be able to get out there and play again, but it just showed me like I was like in my zone, man. I was comfortable out there on a par 3 course. You put me out there on the regular course and I've got to start breaking the driver out. And I don't want to do what I did. What was it? 2-3 years ago. Remember, I had this same problem and I was hitting the 3-iron off the tee instead of hitting my driver.
Right.
And
I remember that.
You know what? That's fine, for a very temporary thing. But I've always said this. You hear me say it here on the podcast. Don't shy away from a club you can't hit for too long. Instead, learn to hit it, because you're gonna in the end, it's a hyper conservative play. You're going to be setting yourself back from a scoring standpoint. So
right.
But anyway, check out the video. Let us know what you guys think. The video should be out, very shortly, if not by the time that this episode comes out. That'll be on Facebook. That'll be on YouTube. And then let us know in the Facebook group. Let us know what you think of that.
Yeah, I'm just, you were talking about playing tomorrow, and I wanted to try to do a new segment. Maybe we can get some traction with this called Mike's Golf Schedule.
Okay. All right.
So let me just share this with you real quick. Tomorrow, May 3rd, Patriot Hills. May 9th, Haworth Country Club. May 11th, Montclair Country Club. May 15th, TPI Titleist Fitting. May 16th, Warwick Valley Country Club. May 18th, Haworth Country Club. May 22nd to the 23rd, Titleist Ball Factory. And May 25th, Arcola. So, dude, my May is stocked.
Oh my God.
This guy, he's cursing at me. Look at him. He's cursing at me.
I am. Jeez.
It's a busy May for me, but a lot of it's business and, some of it's pleasure. But It'll be good.
It's always that time of the year starts to roll in where I start to get incredibly jealous of what you've got.
I'm turning down rounds right now, like free rounds. Can I take you out? Can I take you out? I'm like, I can't. I got to do work. I got to work, But
it's so lucky that as part of like, your job is that you go out and get to play because you get to play during the week.
Yeah, you would think I'm a 6 handicap too. That's what it was.
The hard part for me is I don't really get out there during the week, right? And I squeeze. And then I was thinking about what you said, because I know you almost never get out on the weekends because the family life type of thing. I only get out on the weekends because it is my only real time most times to get out there. So I think my Sunday or whatever day I played was so ridiculously hectic because I like ran from the golf course to try to run like my normal weekend errands, like went right to the grocery store, and I'm like bouncing around, and the first thing I'm thinking about is you, is like, this is like you saying you can't play on the weekends, you got too much family stuff to do, and I'm like, yeah, I feel you, but I got to. So
yeah, I got to, right? Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. You know what you should do? I mean, you should try to make this work for yourself. Maybe one day a week, on a day where you can get down to the clubhouse by like 7:45, like we did. Just you by yourself, play that 9-hole track. You'll be done in 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. You could just fly
you'll be
there
at your desk by 9, man, and you just got some awesome practice in.
So I think if I'm going to put some time, I'm going to start putting some range time, because I got to fix that drive. I got to get off the tee a little bit better, and then I can get out there and feel a little bit better when I'm actually playing the round. So. And
who knows, maybe even your new Titleist driver will be fit to you even better, and you'll be whacking it nice.
As I said, look, anytime you have anything fitted, I feel like you get, if nothing else, you get that nice little confidence boost. I've really had it with the putter, so I'm interested in seeing it with the rest of the bag. It's only a couple weeks away, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, man, can't wait.
Good. So that's everything we have for you guys. And so this week, if you go to golficity.com/episode 217,
kick me while I'm down.
You'll get to this one. It is actually episode 217. So that's that. And then don't forget, check out the Facebook group. Keep it coming, guys. I love the conversations. I love that you guys have been sharing some of your rounds out there, the highs, the lows. We've had some great instances of people sharing, everything from hole outs to new clubs to whatever. And also some people just kind of taking the moment to poke fun at themselves a little bit, showing like a front nine that's a blow up, and then the back nine recovery or whatever it may be. I mean, you and I, we're in there all day digging into it. So I love seeing that. So keep that coming. If you're not in the group, make sure on Facebook, just search the Golf Podcast. You'll find us, join up, and we'll catch up with everybody again next week. We'll see you then.